Okay, 17.3, level Dark Side. A lot of people know it as, or have heard of it as, the level you need Zydar to beat. Ideally, Zydar 3-star. I have heard of people doing it with 1-star, actually. But in any case, this video is about other ways to do it. First, I'm going to do the traditional run here in the background. It's 4 Cavaliers and 4 Black Knights. In Crag Hack, you can only place units in the back row, and they cannot be frozen. So that rules out Adelaide or using Frost Nova, Ice Wall, any units that freeze like Ice Elemental or Airship. It also, they're immune to Time Stop as well, I found out, because otherwise Mullock would be great for this level. In any case, the real issue is the 4 Black Knights are 3-star woke. So whenever they get a kill, or they don't even have to get the kill, whenever their target dies, it heals them about a third of their life, and it makes them immune to spells for the next 7 seconds. And these guys hit really hard. So the odds of, tanking them for 7 seconds when you can't even put tanks down because front 2 rows are blocked, it ain't happening. So the strat, I believe it was Never Justice first came up with, is to use a Phoenix. I'm going to use a Giant, just because I like to be different. But basically, the Black Knight Awaken skill will not proc if the unit that dies is a summoned unit. That's one of the keys to this strat and to a lot of the strats that I'm going to show. After they've gone 7 seconds after killing the Giant or Phoenix or anything, or before they kill anything, you can kill them with spells. Obviously, you don't want to do spell damage in the beginning because it's going to get healed up. They don't just get immune, they get healed as well. So summoned units, whether artifact summons, unit summons, spell summons, there's something important to look for when looking for strategies for this level. The other thing is crowd control that isn't Time Stop or Freeze, and the advantage Time Stop and Freeze have are that the units can run into them. Everything else, you have to land it on them. And then another big thing that wasn't around when I did this level originally is backup troops. So summoned units, crowd control, and backup troops are all important considerations. I'm doing Ciele here for the first one of the easier ways to beat it. Now my Ciele happens to be 4-star, and I have like level 20 arrow spell boosts. So you'll see me intentionally missing arrows. I'm just casting them to proc the Petrify, which I also have marked. Because if I actually hit them with the arrows, they're just going to get nuked instantly, and it kind of defeats the purpose of showing the strategy. That's also why I'm not showing like Salamir and Sandro strats, even though those were the first ones I came up with, besides Zydar. Because I originally did cave and use Zydar, but I really didn't want to use someone else's strat. I was just getting left behind. So I promised myself I'd go back and figure out and do it. Because I was close with both Salamir and Sandro. They both have a bunch of spell damage. Sandro's got stunned. Salamir has no initial cooldown, so you can mark summon spell. Whatever you mark, you have available right away. And also the Hazard Dragon comes out right away, which is super handy. But if I was to do those strats now, it would just be boom, instant nuke 'em. That's why Ciele is the only really leveled hero that I decided to use for these. Now coming up, I guess Mephala is leveled as well, but she is not a spell damage hero, or any kind of damage hero, really. Going with Phoenix for obvious reasons, and Devil, and one of my favorite utility units.
This is my wife.
I wanted to do that for a while. So in any case, obviously it's kind of like crowd control, but not technically crowd control. Mephala's shield will buy us time. Obviously, it not only protects our units, but it'll stop the Black Knights from getting kills off them. They're going to kill something really quick, though, so might as well have them kill a white, which silences everybody. Now, you might think you might want to just bring all 8 units because you're just going to buy more time like that. But in addition to the heal and the immunity that they get, Black Knights get from the Awaken, they're also getting stacking buffs on each kill, which they get even if they're not awakened. So counterintuitively, more units actually hurts you more unless you can keep them alive. But you can see here, gist of it is to buy time with the shield, get backups and dragon, burn them down. I didn't even mark a spell. I could have, but I could have marked a summon spell, crowd control spell, a buff spell, damage, any spell. Could have been useful. Next up here we got Jedite. You can see here I got his ult leveled up pretty high, but nothing else. Petrify at 11, and he is 3-star. So he's mid-level strength. With him, it's all about the crowd control. And something I want to point out, I'm using Lich and Wasport down there. Wasport is amazing for this level because it's got the extra range, so they're harder to get to him. He stuns if they on attack, and he summons adds. So he's super OP for this level. Super OP in general for a lot of PvE. I'm actually almost done with a video about him specifically, or it, I guess. I don't know. I suppose flowers have sexual organs from both genders, I think, right? The pistil and the stem or something like that. Anyway, so you can see I'm using the Earth Arrow and Petrify for crowd control, Circle of Life for damage and to heal. The Pegasus and the Wolf Riders also summon units, so there's a lot of summoned units, which keeps them running around a little bit longer, but without healing them up and giving them that immunity. And that's all she wrote there. I actually quit this one because I wasn't thinking. I'm used to doing some other stuff where I don't want to use up my attempt for the video, but obviously I won that one. So Sephinroth and Erdamon, both of them I never used before I did this to make the video. Using Giant to clump them up, and the Wasport, it does that AoE damage. It's doing that stun. It's summoning the little wasps, which are tanking. And then we got the backups there. Angel, gives us more time and protection. The Phoenix too. The Erdamon strat is pretty much the same, although I believe I clumped them up differently and kited them differently because I was trying to change it up and some more variety. I did not show Sephinroth's skills, but she's 3-star and I don't have her spells leveled. I mean they're like 3 or 4 or something. So Erdamon here, I am running only the vampire plus the artifact summons. And just crowd controlling the heck out of them. The vampire stays alive long enough to get backup troops in there. I'm using the Lich because it gives the Black Knight and the vampire, if he gets rezzed, lifesteal and stuff. And because it summons those units, which, if they get killed, do not heal the Black Knights. Dracon or Dracon. All about cloning that Wasport, baby. That's actually useful in a lot of other instances, too. So I use the Giant to get him close. The Archmage is giving attack speed, most importantly, to the Wasport because he's got a chance to spawn those bees on attack. And also, because I'm using Dracon, if she does a hurricane, it doesn't increase their damage resistance, and she can do 2 of them. I don't think she actually got a hurricane off, but she got the attack speed up for the wasps anyway. This one, Lord Haart, is kind of a niche one. If you have Lord Haart, you probably can beat 17-3, but just for fun. Ironically, you'll see here that I did not bring Death Knight, really. It's in my backups. I like to use my backups for killing a lot because you can place them later on in the fight, and you can kind of control, how the map's looking when your chargers come, which matters a lot. So anyway, basically, I marked him with Bloodlust. Because this isn't about crowd control. This is about sending a bunch of units out there, chopping them up. The calves aren't healing up, so then I get a couple kills off them and snowball my Black Knight. And then he says to all these other Black Knights, you guys are like fucking been washed too many times. You're like dark gray knights at best. I'm fucking black as they come, son. And he chops them all up. And that's like black in regards to like the blackness of their little evil hearts, not their skin color. If anyone wants to take that out of context, it probably doesn't sound good. Anyway, it's starting to drag on a bit here. We got Crag Hack coming in next, representing for Stronghold. But really it's Wasport. On the top we got some Chargers, and then the backups are going to be Chargers and an Angel, I think. That's because of all the buffs he gives to melee units and lifesteal. But first we're going to melt them down pretty good here. I got it marked with Petrify, and then the Wasport's going to take out the calves, I think. And that combined with Earthquake and the crowd control from Earth Arrow and Petrify and the lifesteal and all that jazz makes this pretty easy. Although you got to have 4-star Crag Hack. I swore that the next hero that I start up and marked was going to be a faction leader PvP hero because I have no PvP team, but He was only 15 tokens away. I had to do it, and then 30 for the mark, of course. Kendall, also marked. Also pretty badass. He gets the bonus for offensive units. They have a chance to stun, and they're guaranteed crits against stunned units, but you can't really bring any offensive units besides Berserker or Devil, or one in your backups. So what I'm doing with him instead, once again, going with Petrify for the mark, and the Earth Arrow, and using that for crowd control to keep these Vamps and Manticore alive for a minute here. And then I'm using all of his speed buffs, as well as Storm Elemental 5-star Wake speed buff on air spell cast, to crank out a shit ton of wasps with Wasport, who is in backups with Storm Elemental and my Death Knight. And it works out pretty well here. All of these runs took more tries than you see in here. And I do have, higher power than I did, obviously, when I first got to 17.3. But everyone has access to backups now and newer troops and awakens and whatnot. Hopefully some people who don't have Zydar have access to one of these options here and can make it work, although Zydar's easier than most of them. And maybe, if nothing else, you'll be able to repurpose some of these strategies, or you enjoyed watching it at least. As I mentioned, I did some pretty gnarly cheesing with Wasport, a video that's coming up soon, and I've been getting back to Dragon Invasion. I want to get some more stuff done, tested before that dreaded level 31 dragon level. Thanks for watching. Subscribe if you want more, and have a good one.